Hey, it's currently summer of 2019. I'm on software version 2019.28.3, and this is not specific to this software necessarily, but this video is going to be about the strategy that I am now using in long distance travel with Tesla vehicles, because I'd say that's changed over recently, and I want to explain why. I want to mention that it used to be that Tesla had just enough superchargers in the past, but in the last year and a half, they've doubled the number of superchargers at least, and they've changed their software, and that is why I've had to change my methods. And I'd say it's only recently in the last few months that they've really changed the software, at least since the beginning of 2019, after having these additional superchargers in, and that's what I want to talk about in this video. All right, well, with the addition of the superchargers and the change in software, what's happened is there used to only be enough, just barely enough superchargers to get where you wanted to go if you're going somewhere long distance. So you had to be able to charge up almost all the way in a lot of spots, otherwise you just wouldn't make it, because also battery ranges were shorter in Tesla's earlier history, because this is 2019. They've been building cars since 2012, and they had like a 60 kilowatt pack for a while, and I've got like a 90 in my car. So that was one of the issues that they were having, and my car is changing lanes. Yeah, it's doing it by itself. Anyway, I think we're downtown Springfield, Massachusetts, if you know where that is, if you can recognize any of those buildings behind me. But that was happening. So what I think what Tesla realized early on is that most of the damage of supercharging takes place when you're rapid charging near the top of the battery. So if you've ever supercharged before, you know that it throttles you back as you're near the top, and it does the same thing with your cell phone and other digital devices, and for the same reason, because it will damage the battery pack. So I think that in order to reduce warranty claims, one of the benefits of adding more superchargers is that you don't need to rapid charge, or you don't need to rapid charge as fast to make it seem like things are going as fast. I'm gonna bump my speed up here. When you have more chargers, because if you have more chargers, you have more options. And if you have more options, then Tesla can basically slow down your charging speed as you approach the top of the battery pack. And that's basically what they've done. With the new software since the beginning of 2019, they have started to dramatically slow down the charging rate once you pass about 50%. By the time you get to 60%, it's dramatically reduced. It didn't used to be that way. It didn't used to slow down that rapidly till maybe 80% on the battery pack. Because I can remember, I've charged so many times, I've charged over 1,000 times at Tesla superchargers, that I can remember, the first year and a half was like that. And then in the last year, especially the last 6 months, everything has changed. That bell curve, instead of being right in the middle of your battery, is now way down at the bottom. It's really the bottom half is where you want to stay. So I don't really pay so much attention anymore to what the computer tells me. Even though it's all automatic and the computer can plot your whole trip out, I wouldn't recommend that anymore. What I would recommend doing is try to keep the whole time in the bottom half of your battery pack. So if Tesla tells you to stop at a certain place, try to go another charger. And all you gotta do is zoom out on your map, stop your here, I'll show you. You just have to stop, cancel your trip, zoom out, and see there's a supercharger right there. And if I tell it to navigate to somewhere that I'm gonna go to, West Lebanon, which is way off of there. Oh, we got a call. And it tells me to go to the charger, probably, which is right near me, which I may have actually just passed. But it doesn't make any difference. It'll tell me to go to a certain charger. Yeah, actually, it tells me to go to West Springfield, but that's too close. Okay, I'm still gonna have 24% battery left, so I'm gonna cancel that. I'm gonna cancel. There we go. And instead, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go back to the map. I'm gonna find the next charger up the road, which is this one. And I'm gonna see if I can make it. The way you see if you can make it is just push navigate, like I just did. And yes, I can still make it. I got 16% battery. So that's what you want to do. You want to drain that battery down as low as you can. All right? And once you get to that supercharger, you only want to stay there. You don't want to wait. you don't want to stay there as long as it's telling you to stay there, that's for sure, because it'll always tell you too long. So what you want to do is only stay there until the charge rate starts to drop. And if you see, at least if things are still the same way they are right now, which I have a feeling they're going to stay this way, because it helps Tesla with their warranties. Like I said, it doesn't degrade the batteries as much by allowing a narrower range and nothing at the top where you're charging at a rapid rate. So what will happen is it'll start to taper off at just above 50%. You'll see that, I say, once you are getting down to about 80 kilowatts, and like urban chargers do a maximum of 72. So in an urban charger, once you drop below 72, or a regular one, once you drop below 80, I'd say get on the road. Don't even wait there any longer. Once you're at 80 kilowatts, which is probably 55, 60% max on your battery, just get on the road and it'll recalculate you, and then do the same thing again. Try to go as far as you can. You know, try to go to the next charger, even beyond what Tesla is telling you can do. And if you do that, you'll stay like in the sweet spot of the battery charging the whole time. And by doing that, you're gonna keep your overall trip as short as possible. Whoops. Autopilot doesn't like that. Look what it did. It locked me out. I'm locked out. Ah. Yeah, look at that. Auto steer unavailable. It's got the hazards on now. It's going crazy. It doesn't like me. I think Tesla must know that I'm making this video right now, and they're protesting. All right, let me just turn the system off. There we go. Just have to turn it off, and that's it. Well, after that big incident, if you didn't know, you're at a SuperCharger. I've never seen such a big SuperCharger sign. Like, we didn't know. Anybody driving a Tesla knows. It's probably like a bigger sign than there is at a Tesla service center.
Let's go take selfies by it.
Really? Let me pull in right next to it. All right, and when we're here, I'm going to tell you the rest of what I was going to tell you before Elon Musk interrupted me.
Without a pilot, jail.
Yeah. Bug on there. Okay. So where were we? Where we were was we got to stay in the bottom 50% of the battery. There goes my, I don't know why the door just closed. Stay in the bottom 50%, and you'll notice, actually let's go over here and take a look. You'll notice that when you first plug in, see I'm down low in the battery. It's not quite giving me max charge, because it doesn't when you're down low, but it's okay, because it also doesn't give you max charge when you get past 50 or 60%. But see, it's quickly going up 75, even though it's in orange. And the most I'm going to get is 90 kilowatts, because I have supercharged so much that I am already restricted for the life of this battery pack. But other people might get up to like 300 or whatever the top range is now. But that peak only lasts for a very short window. I've got another video on that, so don't worry about that. The thing you need to worry about is don't go below 80 kilowatts. Right now, see, I'm at 85. It'll ramp up to 90, and then it'll charge for a little while. And when we get to about 50% on the battery, which is right there, it'll start to ramp down quickly. So that's where we want to get out of there. We want to get out of here right when that ends to use our time most efficiently. So it doesn't really matter what your peak speed is. You just don't want to get in on the low end and stay there. That's the most important thing when you're traveling long distance. Denise has to get out of here. There she goes. I also wanted to mention that city you saw in the beginning of this video, that's Hartford, Connecticut, in case you're wondering. There's a Tesla sign. Yeah, there it is. And what else can I tell you? Well, yeah, this is what you want to do. You gotta basically follow your own rules and stick to these rules if you want to use this hack and use as little time as possible supercharging on a long distance trip. But who wants to use any more than you need to? Now, if you're gonna have a long meal, or I don't know, you gotta go to the bathroom and you're sick or something like that, or you're walking around a lot, then you can kill time and hang out at your supercharger. But most people, especially if you're going a real long distance like I am, and I learned most of the stuff when I was towing a trailer, you don't want to do any of that, especially if you're towing a trailer. You want to spend as little time as possible at the supercharger, okay? Because with a trailer, you're going to use like twice as much juice as you do with a car, so it's even more important with the trailer. And that's when I recognized that this is so important, And this is why I want to tell you guys about what needs to be done. I think the needs one's pink Moscato, she said. So I recognize it there, and now you can put it to use on your regular car, right?
Yes.
I was saying how the trailer uses so much more electricity, and that's why I learned you want to stay in the lower part of the battery the whole time, right?
Yeah. We should probably stay out of the street the whole time.
Okay. All right, we're gonna go shopping now, I guess. Oh, you can see it?
My laptop is over there.
And of course, anybody knows, or maybe you don't know, but this fan means that it's cooling the battery. It's hot day, and the battery does not like to be above, it likes to be like 72 degrees, perfect temperatures like humans do. So it tries to keep it there all the time by either heating or cooling it. And in the summer, you'll hear these fans go crazy. In the winter, you may not hear them at all if it's cold where you are, but then you have like severely reduced range, and that's a whole other video. I've got plenty of videos on that too. Okay, so here you can see we're at the max. We're 92, we're actually slightly over. Sometimes I see 94, 95 sometimes. But like I said, I'm limited to 90 because of my 1,000+ SuperChargers already. I don't know when it went, the restriction went on. It was probably like 200 charges in, and that was it. Let me know if you have any idea when that restriction sets in. Let me know in the comments, and also let me know the max kilowatt. This is all that really matters. This kilowatt speed. That's what I'm caring about. Okay, let me know the max kilowatt rating that you've ever received on a SuperCharger, and let me know what you're driving too. Year, model, battery pack, all that stuff, and let me know what charger you got it at too. Let me know in the comments. That'll be a good resource for us knowing where all this happens, because obviously only the top newest SuperChargers have the capabilities and the hardware to be able to do this. You have to match it with the hardware in your car, and that tells you what kind of charging speeds you get. You can see I am rapidly approaching that 50% mark where we're going to start tapering off. It doesn't take long to do this, but again, the point is to be as efficient as possible with this kind of stuff.
Yes.
All right, we're about to get out of here. I can hear the SuperCharger slowing down. I can hear it. I got an ear for that now.
I can hear us losing time.
Well, we're still at 93. My ear's not that good, but it's gonna start tapering off any second now. It's gonna start. Well, as you can see, we're not quite at 50%, not quite. We're just about there, and it's gonna start any moment now, I think. And that's still not, see, I think right when you get into 50%, I believe is where the software starts to throttle you back. And let me know in the comments too if you have noticed this on your car, and if you have noticed it, tell me what kind of car you're driving. Of course you're driving a Tesla, but Model S, X, 3, when it was built, what battery pack is in it, all that kind of stuff. Because I think, 50, there it is. I think once we reach 50%, that's where the software is. And like I said, I think you guys know too, if you've been driving them for a while, it did not used to be like this. This is like a new phenomenon. Look, I even saw it poke up to 95 there for a second. 95 kilowatts. I don't know if you caught that on the camera or not. There it is. But it's going to start throttling back. We are just about at the end of the sweet spot, that bell curve we were talking about. There we go, down to 93. So we're not going up anymore, we're going down. I know it's only 1, but take a look where we are. See, we're just above 50%. I think it's going to start throttling us back. Yep, 92. You see that? Right after we pass the 50% mark is when it starts throttling us back. Again, let me know. There it goes. See that? How quickly that's happening? 89. We're dropping down. And it's just going to keep going like that. If you hit 80 and you're still connected, you're just wasting time, because it's going to slow you down so much. So this is the time when you want to get your stuff together, go back to your car, disconnect, and get out of here. All right, we are continuing the drop. We're down to 85. Let's see where we are in terms of the battery. We're about 55% now. 55% full. So by the time we get to 60, like I said, that's the end of it. So between 50 and 60 is a dramatic throttling back of the speed, and it just keeps getting worse and worse from there. You don't want to hang on any further beyond that. And we're down to 83 now. Where does that put us in the battery pack? You see, very close to 60%. I'm just doing this now so I can show you And again, curious as to whether this is exactly happening in your vehicle, depending upon which model you're driving, which battery pack, which year. But we are just about done. See, 82. There we go, 81. See, once you hit 80 kilowatts and 250 miles per hour, I see that's it. You're out of the sweet spot. There it is, 250 miles an hour, 81. We're gonna drop to 80 any second now. We'll flip it over to see where we are on the, there it is, 80. And it's less than 60, but it's time to unplug. That's the important thing, time to unplug. So get out of here now, get going. All right, just quickly get back on the road. Okay, goodbye giant Tesla sign. Goodbye SuperCharger, we're on to the next one. Just keep going, keep going. One last thing you wanna remember too with all of this. Now it doesn't matter so much on what we're doing here because you'll be near the bottom of the battery on your long distance trips, but whenever you're near the extremes of the battery, top or bottom, just for your own FYI information, if you want to keep your car for a long time and not have to replace the battery, and maybe Tesla did it under warranty, they have an 8-year warranty like S or X, but on Model 3, you don't have that kind of a battery warranty. You can't afford to screw your battery pack up. So don't let it hit the extremes. Don't go to 100% unless you absolutely need to, or even close. And if you are near that, run it off with driving as fast as you can. Because the opposite is true. When you get down low, like you're going to get down low on these trips, don't park your car and go eat while your car is sitting on low. I've lost a lot of range doing that, almost run out of battery, and it is very, very bad for your battery pack. It likes to stay between 20 and 80% at all times.